A recent report card showed public schools in New Orleans making stunning improvements. In the 5 years since Hurricane Katrina, graduating seniors have seen their exam scores go up 21% in math, 13% in science, and 12% in English. So what's behind this big change? Recently, ABC 26 News reporter John Huffman sat down with education consultant Leslie Jacobs to find out.
What's going on in New Orleans is really, truly transformational. You've had 3 years of compounded growth, and how does that translate to families and students? Before Katrina, 2/3, 2 out of 3 of every student, of all of our students, attended a failing school. This past year, it's less than 1 in 3. Across the country, folks are wrestling with how do you turn around chronically failing schools. I mean, New Orleans was dismal for an incredibly long time. And nationally, people are wrestling with how to do it. The fact of the matter is we really don't know how, but in New Orleans, we are doing it.
What is it that we're doing that's making a difference?
I think it's a combination of factors. Come fall, 70% of students are going to be attending charter schools. We have some excellent veteran educators and new educators in the city that have come back, but what they share is a mission-driven purpose of belief and commitment that children will learn. There's a difference saying I believe all kids can learn and all students will learn. And so there is, with this, charter schools are not a quick fix, but what they do give you is autonomy. They give you the responsibility, but they give you the freedom to go do it. And so you've got ownership. It's very hard to explain, but probably the #1 difference is that ownership. I am responsible for what goes on in my school building. I can't blame anybody else for what's going on in my school building. I've been given the freedom. I need to go educate these youngsters. And so you've got quality educators, veteran and new. You've got the charter school movement, which gives a lot of freedom and autonomy, but accountability at the school site. And you have this movement going on in New Orleans, for lack of a better word, I call it cooperation. While schools are competing for kids and faculty and bragging rights, they're also very much cooperating with each other in this mission alignment that we are going to turn around New Orleans public schools and make it a national example of how to take what was arguably the worst urban school district in the United States and make it one of the best.
So compare now to right before Katrina, the schools.
Well, I'm going to talk about the high schools for a minute. Some of your viewers may remember right before Katrina, 2 years before Katrina, the valedictorian of Forte High School could not walk across the stage and get her diploma because she failed the graduation exit exam in math 6 times. That represented that in New Orleans before Katrina, 21 out of every 100 seniors, I'm not talking about freshmen, I'm talking kids who got to senior year, did not graduate. 21 out of 100, and only in New Orleans the #1 cause of not graduating was failure to pass the exit exam. In the rest of the state, the failure was they didn't have enough course credits. In 3 years, we've moved that 21 down to 10. This year, 90 out of 100 seniors graduated. And do we have a ways to go? Should we have a much higher number than that? Yes, but you got to crawl before you walk and walk before you run.
Give us a grade. If you're a teacher, give this school system,
I'd say we've gone from an F to a CC+. But I got to tell you, all Fs are not alike. We were a low F. So you take the high schools in New Orleans, they weren't only failing, but over half of our failing high schools were the absolute lowest in the state. They were lower than alternative schools, schools for dropout recovery in parishes and other parts of the state. They were that bad. And so we've gone from a low F, the lowest performing district in the state, to what I consider now probably a CC+.
So, but that's average, a little better than average.
We're not at the state average. I guess I'm looking at momentum. If you're looking at absolute performance, we still have a ways to go. At absolute performance, we've moved from a low F to a D. But if you look at the momentum and the growth, and you add in the effort grade, I give us a C.
We have new school buildings. We have new curricula in some schools. We have new teachers who've come in from other parts of the country. Have all those things combined to make a difference?
I would tell you right now, facilities have not made a difference. I mean, you have, I think, 3 new buildings up. We have a tremendous, facilities are a challenge in New Orleans. You still have a tremendous number of schools in modulars. You have schools that are in temporary places and they're outgrowing them. I think 5 years from now, we'll have a lot of wonderful new buildings. We just don't have them yet. So facilities are a challenge. They're not helping. But I absolutely believe the return of some high-quality veteran educators along with the influx of new talent is making a tremendous difference. And it begins actually at the school leadership level, your principalship. We've got a lot of young talent in New Orleans leading schools. Again, veteran principals as well, but we've probably brought our average age of principals down 15 years from before the storm. Teacher corps, again, a lot of veteran teachers returning, new talent. I think it's a very good mix. You have to have the right environment that enables that school to succeed. And I don't want to understate, you will have, come September, 70% of students in Orleans Parish will be attending charter schools. And so that's an important ingredient. That ingredient alone won't make it succeed, but even in traditional schools, they're given more autonomy and more freedom because of what's going on in that charter school movement. And I've been in education reform now 25 years. I called it the blame game. You bring a group of educators in a room and you say, why aren't kids learning? And it doesn't take very long for the blame game to begin, usually within the first 5 minutes. It's the parents, it's the kids, and the poverty, it's the neighborhood. Depending who's in the room, it's the teachers union, it's the principal, it's the school board, it's the superintendent, it's the parents. Start over. And they go around the room and they have blame game. What's fascinating is I don't hear that anymore in New Orleans, all right? Because the schools have that ownership. They believe it is their mission and their responsibility to educate the student that walks in the door, and they're doing a much better job of it.
All right, we've come, in your words, from an F to about a C. So that means we're about halfway to getting to an A. What do you see? Do you see us getting there in the coming years?
You know, maybe I was too rich in the grading. We've probably gone from a low F to a D+. Okay, if you really... I guess it depends upon the grading scale. If our goal is that every child has an educational opportunity that they deserve, and they're attending a good school, I believe we will get there. We've moved that chain probably half the distance. We've gone from, you know, back at our 1-yard line to midfield.
Do you think we have what it takes to go the rest of the way?
So, I know we'll score. I just don't know if it's going to be a touchdown or a field goal.